JMichaelTX reporting here on Friday, June the 4th, 2021. And I want to give you a quick demo of how we can debug a JXA script, which we have created and written in the Visual Studio Code editor. But we can debug that script immediately in the Safari JXA Debugger. Okay, so I'm going to give you a demo of how we can do this. So first, let's review, some of the key features here. Number one, if you know anything about VSC, you know that it has an excellent IntelliSense autocomplete feature, which fully autocompletes for JavaScript. Excellent. And now we've learned how to get autocompletion for JXA automation objects. Things like the application object and system event and so forth, as well as the basic Apple applications. So the point is, when we have a script in VSC and we're ready to test it or debug it, we can quickly, with one shortcut key, open that script up in the Safari debugger. So let's take a look at how that works. Okay, I've got a script here that I created entirely in VSC, and you'll notice that this script has an extension of .scpt. This is the same extension the script editor uses when it saves a JXA file. Now, this is important because we're going to need to open this same file in script editor and then invoke the Safari debugger from there. Okay? But it's going to go very quickly. All right? Now, I want you to notice one more thing. Here I have set debug to true. This is a variable I created called debug. And down in my script, wherever I want to debug, I have a very simple statement that says if debug, then debugger. So if the debug variable is true, it's going to invoke the debugger command. Okay? And I have several of those in my script. All right, so we're in VSC. So I have a shortcut key which will quickly invoke the Safari debugger. Okay, but for purposes of the demo, I'm going to show you that I'm executing the macro. Okay, so I executed a command that runs the current macro. As you can see, the macro is called run current VSC JXA script. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And I want you to notice how quickly we now have the script open in the Safari debugger. Okay, and it has paused at the first debugger command. Okay, now I have two more debugger statements, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute. But for now, I want to just resume until the next one, which is command / to resume execution. All right, here's the next debugger statement. The point of this is that I have just prior to that created an object called OhMyObject, and I have output the string equivalent of that to the log. So first, let's notice down here in the script editor log, there it is. Name, VSC, typo, type, so forth. But more importantly, let's look up here in the Safari debugger to the my object. And so I can click on that, click on the expand, and I'll see the keys of that object called. One key is lang for language, name, and type. Okay, but interestingly enough, the lang key is actually an array. And if I expand that, then I see those three values: JavaScript, JXA, and many more. So the point of this is that the Safari debugger lets you examine in detail all of the data that you're using in that script. Okay, so now let's go ahead and resume with a command \. And this takes us to the very last debugger statement, which I put just before the return. And the reason I did that is so that I can still see all of the local variables in my script. Once we return and the script exits, we lose all this. So if I wanted to, for example, I wanted to look at the data and compare that back with my script, I have a big screen, so I could really have both the debugger and Visual Studio Code open at the same time. But for now, I'm just going to switch to video VSC. And now I can look at my script, and I can actually even make changes here. So, normally I would have these side by side so I could see the data and see the script at the same time and go, oh, okay, I see what the problem is, and fix the script. Now, once I am done debugging, however, I need to close the debugger and I need to close the script editor. So part of the KM editor is this pop-up prompt, which allows you to easily do that. Okay, so I'm going to simply click on Quit Script Editor. And, that leaves us real clean with the Visual Studio Code script here that you can continue to edit. Well, I hope that gives you an idea of how powerful it is to easily edit a VSC JXA script in Safari Debugger.